to start tonight's show talking about Norway. Actually, was one of the most controversial songs when it won its national final. If we cast our minds back to it, feels like last year now, doesn't it? It's such a long time ago. To the national final in Norway, we saw it was a straight fight between Kano with Monument and TIX with Fallen Angel. Norway do really well at Eurovision. They've been in Eurovision 58 times. They've won 3 times. Last one back in 2009. Of course, with Alexander Rybak and Fairy Tale. This is Fallen Angel. And this is a really interesting song by TIX. It's a song about unrequited love. And it was originally sung in Norwegian in the semi-final, translated to English for the final. He's well known in Norway for being this fantastic singer-songwriter, but also well known for having Tourette's and OCD, and it's absolutely a part of how he writes and how he performs on stage. He absolutely loves and adores this song he's written, and you know what? Eurovision's now starting to like it, despite all the sort of negative comments that he had to endure. People are starting to really buy into this now, and it finds itself the 9th favourite to win Eurovision. We start with one of the favourites. We start with Norway. We're going to, do you know what? I think it's only right and proper that we start the other side of the pond this evening. We're going to go and say a very good, is it morning or afternoon, to the lovely Lena. Good afternoon, Lena.
Hello. Good afternoon. It is. The sun is out here.
Good to have you on the show. I wish it was still sunny here. It's getting a little bit dark in the United Kingdom. Let's start with TIX. Fabulous bandana, by the way.
I don't quite have the forehead, he has, but I'm doing my best over here.
Now, if you cast our minds back to the Norwegian final, most people were rooting for Kano. And this was a total shock. It wasn't a shock to a lot of our panel because we've been keeping a close eye on Spotify, and he was in the top 10 of Spotify for weeks, whereas every other artist in that national final had dropped quite considerably. Do you think people are starting to connect with this now?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, for me, it was immediate as soon as I laid eyes on him and the outfit and heard the song. I was just like completely like, this is it. This is it for me. Even though I thought the Norway final for me was the strongest final. There were so many songs I loved, but this was always like that cut above for me.
Yeah, and it's I think it's a real earworm, isn't it?
I mean, I defy the person. I will say I was very attached to the Norwegian version, even though I do not speak Norwegian at all. I just thought his high notes with the vowels in that version, with that production, the key change shifted a little bit. I thought soared a bit more, but I defy anyone to not scream this in the shower after you've heard it once.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Donna's nodding her head. We'll go to Scotland next, I think. I remember that national final in Norway, Donna, and the after show party that we did here, and it was pretty miserable, I have to say. I had to host that one as well. That was a hard one. But everyone seems to love this now. Tell us why.
I think it is a grower, definitely. And the fact that he has put it into English actually really suddenly made the connection a bit more, because you just think, I know certainly we were on the Norwegian stuff all the way through, and when I first saw it, I was not best pleased, I've got to say, because I didn't understand the lyrics, so I didn't engage initially. And I just thought, oh no, he's gone for a cheesy staging with the demons and stuff like that, and you just thought, oh God, this is going to be interesting. So it took a while to grow on me, and then when he said he was going to do it into English, I thought, oh yes, brilliant, this could work, and it really did. And the rhythms work nicely. It's kind of a boy bandish song, so it's quite popular. He's quite popular. He's got a look that a lot of the younger voters might go for as well as tapping into some of the staging things that some of the more quirkier fans of the contest might enjoy as well. So there's a bit of something for everyone, I think, in this song. He could do really well with it.
Thank you, Donna. Actually, I'm going to come to Una Vision all the way from Belgium, our first of 2 Belgium panelists this evening. And let's talk about the staging, Una. It's interesting when you see these national finals, and we haven't had a lot of them this year. In fairness, we have, not like a usual Eurovision year where we have tons, but Norway was a real treat. We know what we're going to get from TIX, and firstly, do you think there'll be any changes to the staging, or do you think he'll run it exactly how we saw in the national final? And could that be an advantage or a disadvantage? Because everyone kind of knows what they're going to expect to see.
Well, I think he might stick to the staging he did in the national final, because I actually find it really funny with the super large wings and like the 6 demons running around him. Well, now it will be 1 less or maybe 2 less because the rules, But I think he's gonna stick to it. Maybe pimp his outfit a bit. That would be nice. Like maybe take some other kind of wings, something, and maybe change it a little bit, but stick to the essence of the staging he did.
Are you looking for a few more sequins on his wings? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, maybe some glitter, maybe some LED lights. I don't know, something.
I'm not sure you can bling that staging up anymore, can you? I mean, I remember thinking. I mean, there's not much place for him to go with this, really, is there? Or maybe there is. Let's go to Sean. Sean's nodding his head. Sean, are we going to see the same staging, or is he going to try something?
You know what? If he wants to get the fans on board outside of Norway, he needs to fly, doesn't he? Let's face it, he's got some wings. Let him fly off at the end. I think that'd be fun. Look, as far as the song itself is concerned, everybody pretty well knows that I'm a big Kano fan. So, yeah, I were a little bit cheesed off when this won. I think Monument was, to be fair, and I still think that it was a much better song, and I think it would have given Norway a better result in Rotterdam. I didn't understand at first the TIX thing because I didn't know his backstory. I didn't know about the OCD and the Tourette's. I thought it was some sort of gimmick or novelty act. And obviously, I really sympathise with him, and he's got a big following in Norway. But it's not a sob story competition; it's a song competition, and I do think that he's representing Norway at Eurovision because he's TIX, not because of the song. To be fair, I think if he'd have gone on and sung the phone book against Kano, he'd have probably won because he's TIX and he's massive over there. So I personally still find it middle of the road. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I find it middle of the road. I think it'll qualify just about. However, he's right after El Diablo, isn't he, in the semi? So you're going to go from that banger to that. So what's going to happen? I don't know.
Can I just say, if TIX ain't flying in Rotterdam like Kate Miller Heidke flying through the sky, there's been a robbery. Let me tell you, I'm here for it. I am here for it. Talking about backstories, though, let's stay with that theme. I'm coming to David in Portugal. Good evening, welcome to the show, David. If we think back to previous winners who've had great backstories, Netta was one who won for Israel in 2018. Salvador Sobral won for Portugal with a similar backstory in 2017. Could this be something that really elevates TIX to potential Eurovision winner? I mean, he's ninth favourite, so there's plenty of money going on TIX to win Eurovision this year.
No, I think it's not. I think there's another song we got to talk about today. I think as more personal, as a more story, is more impactful to do well. But I think TIX will do well. Absolutely, I think TIX will do well. I know. I don't understand. I know what's controversial if you is win in MGP, but I know it's a grower. I like the song. It's close to my top 10, but I think he can do well. I think we will qualify. I don't know about staging, needs some changes as well, but I think he can do top 15 at least in the final. I'm not gonna say anyone less.
Thank you, David. Can we pull that comment back up about, I can't remember who it was from, about the song starting after El Diablo, moving from El Diablo to Fallen Angel. There we go. Thank you, Vanya. It's a great comment. Thank you for sending that through. You got to love the producer's sense of humor, putting El Diablo and Fallen Angel back to back. Someone somewhere was having a real laugh when they did this draw, weren't they? Steve, if we think about the running order, it's position 9 in semi-final 1. It's in between, or sandwiched in between, Eleni of Cyprus and Albania of Croatia. And by the way, I would trade places with TIX in a heartbeat. Tell me about how this is going to go down in Rotterdam.
Well, I think it's going to qualify. I think it's catchy. It's a good song. It's not a brilliant song in my view. I think the staging is going to be so important, but I suspect he's going to stick to the staging he's done in the Melody Grand Prix. And I'm not sure we will see him flying, but I think that would be a great idea if we did. I don't think this is going to finish terribly well for Norway. And I'm a bit like Sean here. I kind of I think it was a monumental disaster that Kano didn't get through, pardon the pun. But I think this is good enough to get through to the final. And he sings it well. I'm not sure it's going to resonate quite as much as we might think it will because of the backstory. I don't think the backstory, most of the voters probably won't know much about the backstory. I mean, the clue's in the headband, obviously, but yeah.
And unless the commentators make reference to it during the, in between the songs, is possible. But thank you, Steve. Thanks. And also Belgium. We're moving to Alina next. Alina, you were on that show when we talked about the Norway national final, and you were particularly sad, along with one or two others. How are you feeling? Yeah, how are you feeling about TIX and Fallen Angel now? Have you warmed to TIX and can see this doing well?
Let me say there's still a love-hate relationship with it. Like, I love it when I don't see it. But I'm totally with Sean, like 200% share his opinion. Yeah. Sean said it all for me. I don't know, like, if Norway changes the whole performance, I could maybe be behind Norway. But so far, I don't see it qualifying. And I also showed it to some coworkers who are non-Eurovision fans, and they were not so positive until I said to them, yeah, okay, that is his backstory and all of that. And they were like, okay, yeah, I get it. So hopefully for Norway, they will say it before he starts performing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be all about how that story's built in, how the narrative around how that's presented, and I think it will do. I mean, if you think back to, I'm going to talk from a UK perspective. The UK commentary team and also that week run up to Eurovision, we're talking about Salvador and his backstory in the same way that we heard about Netta and her backstory. So I think it's very possible. I wouldn't count this out. Tom, what are your thoughts, and what are the chat rooms saying?
Well, I quite like this. I think it's got a lot going for it. I think I agree with Donna in that I think the translation into English has made a better connection with the audience as well. Interesting to note, and I got this from the chat room, I've just been researching it, the Norwegian Grammy Awards are this evening, and TIX won an award there for Artist of the Year, so big congratulations to him. So I think that shows just how popular TIX is in Norway at the moment. Let's be honest, the reaction in the chat room is largely really, really, really positive. Lauren says, I really hope it qualifies. It would be a shame if it didn't. Marios, this will go big in the final, top 10. There are some people, however, that have suggested that there could be a bit of a struggle there. As obviously, Vanya's pointed out about the running order. But do you know what? I reckon this is going to resonate really well. And I think this will stand out because it's different. And I think the staging will make him stand out. There were some comments about, is it too late to alter the staging? But I think in actual fact, that helps sell it. And I reckon this could do really well for Norway. And I reckon they're not on to a winner this year, but I still think they could be on for top 10.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. And certainly the voters, or certainly the betters at the moment, think so as well. So that's Norway done.